Great job, Vanessa. That is a haunting tune. One that I have always liked. Don't tell anybody I like Lionel Richie songs. No. He just came up with some great stuff. And that one, it was a pleasant surprise to see what Vanessa had in store for us this week. That is, of course, well, that wasn't, of course, anything like what she did in the lesson. That was just screwing around because I don't know because I'm not about to sing it. So, but it's a great chord progression, and I mess around with chord progressions like that all the time. I probably even did last week here at TG. It is the weekly update. It is Friday the 26th of January, 2018. 2018 means we're into the year when we're going to Amsterdam. A little bit of news on that. I want to welcome a couple people that have signed up. Tom, who was at our first camp in 2013. At the Quaker Center, and Dean, who's been a long-time contributor with some very cool guitar playing and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you two guys, and more people may have signed up by now. I'm not always getting that info, but please think about joining us. July 13th. What happened this week? I had a couple things I want to talk about. Some of the songs, oh man, I don't think I can fake my way through this. I should have looked at Max's lesson. I just saw that he did Dig a Pony. And it is a very strange song of theirs. Not as strange as Dig It, another one that showed up in like an uncut version for 82 minutes or something like that in some of the Let It Be sessions. But pretty cool tune. Anyway, really cool tune. Which reminds me, yesterday, I was working with a student. He came in and I said, hey, what have you been working on? And he said, I went back to an album that I gave him many years ago called Beware Of Abkco. And we were playing... there were two different ones we messed with around. Anyway, what was the other one? Unbelievably weird chord progressions that George Harrison came up with back in his just slightly post-Beatle days, and most of those tunes showed up on All Things Must Pass. But anyway, if you have access to Beware of Abkco, it's acoustic demos, Summer Electric, of George playing these songs for Phil Spector. I'm sure I talked about this years ago, but it's been a while since the album was on my radar. So Abkco, Abkco. Yeah. Got it. Let's see, what did I really want to talk about? Oh, what else did we have this week? As far as songs go, Sandy. She's such a good sport. Anyway, we broke out the Soundbrenner metronome, and that is a pretty cool thing. If you can handle, feeling a beat on your ankle or your wrist or something like that, and you couldn't hear this in the video, but she's feeling this pulse on her. She put it on her right foot and she was tapping her left. Now somehow it does seem like tapping the foot that has the pulse on it could be a little difficult, but anyway, so it does seem like a pretty cool thing. So that leads me to something I do want to talk about a little bit that I probably talked about in the lesson, but I'm sure not everybody has watched the whole fly on the wall with us talking about metronomes. And it is not easy to play with a metronome. It does take a lot of practice. So you have to really persevere. And you could start with really simple things, like just set the metronome. I didn't bring mine out here. It's not within reach right now. But let's say it's tapping at this speed. Just start doing quarter notes with it to just get in the habit of staying on time. And then maybe try eighth notes, maybe just the same note. And then maybe a simple strum. And as I was telling Sandy in there, is the really important thing is if you get off, if you can't get back on within a beat or two, stop and get reset, okay? Because anyway, it's hard to adjust to it. Is what I'm getting at. You'll get better at it as you do this, but it really takes some patience and practice to get good with a metronome. So don't feel bad if you say, "Oh, I got this metronome and it doesn't even keep time right," and I threw it away. Not a good thing. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I want to get to Mike's comment about why the frets get closer together. I'll get to that in a second. No, I'll do that first. Because it brings up a whole interesting thing. And what Mike brought up is that if you cut the string in a quarter of its length, you raise the note a fourth, and every time you cut it a quarter, you raise it a fourth again. Well, if you cut it in half, you raise it an octave, right? And if you cut it in a third, you raise it a fifth. Now, that really is tied to the overtone series, which is harmonics. I'm going to need a stiffer pick for this because I'm going to show you something that's kind of cool. Harmonics are also known as overtones, and when you play a fundamental note, E, we're going to go with E because it's the one that kind of works the best. It's vibrating at about 82 cycles per second. I'm going to call it 80. Well, if I cut it in half at the 12th fret, that gives me two parts of the string that are vibrating twice as fast, 160. Again, we're going approximate, okay? We don't care. But about 160 cycles because we cut it in half, so each side's vibrating twice as fast. Well, each successive harmonic is created by cutting the string in the next fraction. The 12th fret gives us a half. The 7th fret gives us a third. That triples the frequency. So that gives us a note vibrating at 240, which turns out to be approximately a fifth above that. Well, if we quadruple it or cut the string in half, in quarters, the 5th fret, we now have another multiple of 80, 320, and that gives us a fourth above where we just were, which brings us to another E, an octave. So what we had so far was E, an octave the first time, an octave and a fifth the next time, an octave and a fifth and a fourth when we get to the 4th fret, which is 2 octaves. And if we keep going, if we get to go to the 3rd fret, and now it's really important to get back here close to the bridge to get these, to not run into node problems. At the 3rd fret, the 4th fret, we've quintupled it. We're vibrating, a note's vibrating at about 400 hertz right now, and that creates a third, approximately, above what we were just, what we just heard, which was 2 octaves. That gives us a G sharp. So at the 4th fret, you get a harmonic that is also the same as the G sharp on the 1st string. Now that harmonic appears also at the 9th fret and the 16th, I guess. There we go. And somewhere over the sound hole. So we split it into 5 parts. That means there were 4 nodes that were all the same. Well, we can keep going. You may not be able to hear these very well. I wonder how my audio is doing. Okay, we go to close to the 4th fret. I'm just a little over the 4th fret. That gave me a minor third above where I was. I was at G sharp, which was a major third, the last interval. That gives me a minor third. That is B. It's another B that is half of the B we get at the 7th fret. So if you can eyeball 0 to 7 and go to halfway between them, you'll have split the string in 6 parts. Is that right? Am I up to 6? Yeah. And if we keep going, a little past the 3rd fret, we get somewhere between a minor second and a major second. Now we're getting into notes that are out of tune. But that would be cutting the string into 7 equal parts. And again, I'm just behind, just a little short of the 3rd fret. And if I get to close to the 2nd fret, let me see. There it is, just past the 2nd fret. I've now cut it into 8 parts, which means we're back to another E. So we actually got a whole bunch of notes, all the way from E to B to E to G sharp to B to D half flat, D half sharp, and another E. And there are more. We're not going that far. Anyway, kind of a cool thing. So this wasn't really so much about the frets getting closer together. Oh, I will tell you one thing about the frets. In order for a note to get, a string to get a half step higher, the string is a certain length, X. Okay, it's about 25 inches. And in order to make it about a half step higher, you have to make it about 17/18 of the length. So the 1st fret is approximately 17/18 of the distance from the whole string length. And then we get another half step by going 17/18 of the distance from the saddle to the 1st fret, which is of course going to be a little less because it's a shorter starting distance. So every fret is approximately 17/18 of the length to the fret before. Okay, it's way enough physics for today. But this was the other cool lesson. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and as I mentioned, I probably mentioned this in the lesson, I am going to be working on an instrumental version. I'm going to give you like a work in progress idea of what I'm thinking about here. Anyway, still got a lot of decisions to make on how it's going to go and how the heck I'm going to write it down. So it may be delayed, but it's just a little sneak behind the scenes at what's going on here at TG. What else? I haven't been playing too much else lately. I've been working mostly on that, driving other people in the house nuts. It's like, could you play something else? I did play. I dug out something I hadn't played in a while. What is this? And every time I start it, I worry about the part coming up with the walking bass, so I delay it and do the beginning again. Now, I said I played it, but I didn't get it right yet. See what I mean? Well, never mind. You get the idea. But one of my personal favorites, but I should stop butchering it. I will practice that and have it in better shape for next week. But that's what happens when you have a lot of songs, and some of them are pretty difficult, or parts of them are difficult. That's, of course, Who Done It from, what album is that? Cobble Creek. But, okay, I think I have... Okay, that's it for today. Back next week.